Have you ever tried poaching eggs, only to see the egg white spread all over the pot as soon as you drop the egg into the water? The egg loses its shape, looks messy and unappetizing, and sometimes even has a slightly fishy smell. Many people think that poaching eggs is difficult and that only professional chefs can do it well. But in reality, it's not because you're clumsy, it's simply because you haven't been shown the right way. Today, I'm going to share with you a very simple, easy, and safe way to poach eggs, especially suitable for beginners and older adults. After watching this video, you'll be able to make poached eggs with smooth, neat egg whites that gently wrap around the yolk, and a soft, beautifully runny yolk. Before we begin, there are two very important things that I always pay attention to when poaching eggs. The first thing is choosing very fresh eggs. The fresher the eggs are, the more beautiful the poached eggs will be. Fresh eggs have tighter egg whites that cling more closely to the yolk, making them easier to shape. Eggs that have been stored for a long time tend to spread more easily and are harder to keep in shape when poached. The second thing is washing the eggs thoroughly before cooking. Eggshells can carry dirt and bacteria from transportation and storage. By washing the eggs first, we can feel much more at ease, especially when poaching eggs at temperatures that are not extremely high. After choosing fresh eggs and washing them clean, we move on to the most important step to ensure that the poached eggs turn out beautiful and do not fall apart. Now, I'll show you how to do it. Now, I crack the egg into a fine mesh strainer placed over a bowl. Do not crack the egg directly into a bowl or drop it straight into the pot, because this step is the key to preventing the egg from spreading when poached. When you crack the egg into the strainer, you will clearly see that the egg separates into two different parts. One part is the thin, watery egg white, which is clear and runs very quickly down into the bowl below. The remaining part is the thicker, slightly viscous egg white that clings tightly around the yolk and stays in the strainer. This is exactly what I mentioned earlier about fresh eggs. The fresher the egg is, the more of this thick egg white it will have, and the more closely it will wrap around the yolk. And it is this part that helps the poached egg keep a neat, round, and beautiful shape. Now, I gently shake the strainer a little so that the thin, watery egg white can drain completely. There is no need to shake hard, just enough to let the clear liquid separate. Shaking too forcefully can break the yolk, so take your time and do it gently. The watery liquid that passes through the strainer is the part that usually causes poached eggs to look ragged and spread out when they hit hot water. By removing this part, the egg will stay much neater when poached. After straining, gently transfer the remaining egg from the strainer into a small bowl. At this point, you will see that the egg looks more compact, firm, and much easier to control compared to when it was first cracked. You continue cracking more eggs through the strainer. Which beautiful country are you watching this video from? Let me know in the comments. This time, we will let the eggs rest on a plate for a moment, preparing several eggs at once like restaurants do. Now that the eggs have been neatly strained, we move on to preparing the poaching water. At this point, the pot of water is starting to heat up. You do not need to wait for the water to come to a rolling boil. You only need the water to gently simmer, with small bubbles rising from the bottom of the pot. At this temperature, the egg whites will set slowly, evenly, and smoothly. If the water boils too vigorously, the eggs can easily tear apart and lose their shape. Now, I add about 1 tablespoon of vinegar for every 1 to 1.5 liters of water. Then I gently stir so the vinegar is evenly distributed in the water. The vinegar helps the egg whites coagulate more quickly as soon as they touch the hot water, which prevents the whites from spreading. The amount of vinegar is very small, so the eggs will not have a sour taste or smell after cooking. Next comes the step of adding the egg to the water. I hold the bowl of egg close to the surface of the water and gently slide the egg in, instead of dropping it from a height. As soon as the egg enters the water, I leave it completely undisturbed. I do not stir the water, I do not use a spoon to shape it, and I do not touch the egg. In the first few seconds, the egg white will naturally curl up and wrap itself around the yolk. If you stir or touch the egg at this stage, it can easily tear. I wait about 3 minutes if you like a soft, runny yolk. If you prefer a slightly firmer yolk, you can wait about 5 minutes. And if you want the yolk fully set, about 6 minutes is enough. When the time is up, I use a slotted spoon to gently lift the egg out of the water. You will see that the egg white is smooth, compact, evenly opaque, and neatly wrapped around the yolk, with almost no stray strands. I cut the egg in half with a knife. The yolk looks so beautiful. It is a very appealing and nutritious dish. Now we are going to poach several eggs at the same time. I hold the plate of eggs close to the surface of the water and gently slide the first egg in, not dropping it from a height. As soon as the egg enters the water, I leave it completely undisturbed. I do not stir and I do not touch it. After just a few seconds, you will see the egg white begin to curl and wrap itself around the yolk. The egg naturally forms a very neat shape. Once the first egg has stabilized and holds its shape, I continue by gently sliding in the second egg, using the same method. Then comes the third egg. You will notice that when the water is prepared correctly and the eggs have been strained through a sieve, they do not stick to each other, they do not spread, and there is no need to swirl the water. This is exactly how many restaurants prepare multiple poached eggs at the same time. They do not rush, they do not stir the water, they simply add the eggs one by one, a few seconds apart. I let the eggs cook for about 3 minutes for a soft, beautifully runny yolk. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, please support me by clicking the subscribe button. Thank you so much. I use a slotted spoon to gently lift each egg out of the water. If the eggs are not eaten right away, I place them into ice water to stop the cooking process and keep the yolks from setting further. You can store poached eggs in the refrigerator for 24 to 48 hours. When you want to eat them, simply place them in hot water for a few dozen seconds and you will have perfect poached eggs again. This method allows you to poach several eggs in the same pot, which is very convenient when cooking for the family or preparing meals in advance. Now, I will share another way to poach eggs that is even simpler, especially suitable when you only need to poach 1 or 2 eggs quickly. Prepare a non-stick pan. Add a small amount of water to the pan, just enough to cover the bottom. There is no need to add a lot of water. Heat the pan until the water comes to a boil, then reduce the heat to low. Crack the egg directly into the pan and cover it with a lid. No oil is needed. There is no need to flip the egg. After about 1 minute, open the lid. You will see that the egg white has turned opaque, soft, smooth, and glossy, gently surrounding the yolk. Gently shake the pan. If the yolk still moves slightly inside, that means the egg has been perfectly poached. This method is very safe, there is no oil splattering, no complicated handling, and it is almost impossible to fail, even for beginners. How do you usually poach your eggs? And do you prefer using a pot or using a pan? Please leave a comment below. I really look forward to reading your thoughts. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the Merry Home channel, and share the video with your family and friends. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you again in the next video.